We can observe a cell being divided up into several additional cells in the opening image. Then, a primordial proto-human is seen drinking water from a lake. After stating that life originated billions of years ago, Lucy, Scarlett Johansson, wonders what humans have done with it since. Lucy, a young American woman in the present, is seen with her week-long boyfriend Richard in front of a hotel in Taiwan, Pilu Asbake. She is being asked to carry a briefcase up to a Mr. Jang's room, Choi Min-sik. Lucy is promised $500, but declines to do anything for Richard without understanding what it is he needs her to bring. As a result, Richard binds Lucy's wrist to the suitcase handle, giving her no other option. When she enters the lobby, she hesitantly introduces herself to the clerk before informing her that Richard is sending her up to Jang. Before being shot and killed, Richard was attempting to be encouraging when Lucy looked out the window and saw him smiling. Lucy is compelled to ascend with a group of goons after they forcefully exit the elevator. This scenario is set against footage of a cheetah hunting, attacking, and carrying the dead gazelle between its teeth. They deliver Lucy to Jang's residence. Lucy starts to throw up because there are bloody bodies on the ground. Jang emerges from the room with bloody hands. He makes a phone call to a man to translate for Lucy. She sobs, unsure of what is happening or why it is occurring. The code to open the briefcase is number 140, which Jang records on a piece of paper. While his soldiers are preparing themselves with weapons and shields, Jang enters the subsequent chamber. The briefcase, which is filled with 4 1-kilogram bags of blue powdered crystals, is opened by Lucy. A drugged-up man is brought in by Jang to snort some of the blue powder. Before Jang shoots him in the head, the man briefly convulses and then breaks out in insane laughter. After that, Lucy is told to perform a task, but refuses until she is spanked. In a hotel room, Lucy awakens. Her stomach is wrapped with a bandage. When Jang's men enter, they toss her some clothing. Along with 3 other males, she is brought to Jang. In order to explain to Lucy that she and the other guys had a substance called CPH4 inserted into their lower intestines, a British man known as the Limey, Julian Reintott, enters the room. They want to smuggle the drug around the world because it is considered to be the newest and greatest on the market. After that, one of the guys attempts to get into Lucy's jeans before chaining her up and kicking her in the stomach where they had already cut into her. As a result, the medication bag tears, letting the powder into Lucy's body. She starts to wriggle and flail around the room, reaching even for the ceiling before falling back to the ground. Throughout this, Professor Samuel Norman, Morgan Freeman, is shown lecturing a school on his studies on the potential of the brain. He essentially discusses what may occur if humans were to use more of their brains than the recommended 10% capability, as well as how the brain would react in different settings that might allow it to submit to immortality or reproduction. In essence, if the person dislikes their surroundings, they would choose immortality and relocate, whereas if they were content with their surroundings, they would be more likely to procreate, complete with images of every species engaging in intercourse. Humans could alter matter if they could reach, say, 40%. Footage of a magic show is juxtaposed here as an example. What would happen if humanity reached 100%? A student wonders Norman. He claims he doesn't know. Lucy regains consciousness, her eyes flashing a brilliant blue. She is more at ease than previously as she sits erect. When a thug enters the room, Lucy stretches her legs out to tempt him. The criminal grinned and placed his weapon on the table. Lucy grabs his belt as he approaches her and turns him over before moving the table to retrieve the revolver. She shoots the other thugs as they are eating after she has freed herself. She is shot in the shoulder but manages to remove the bullet painlessly. She then devours the food left over by the thugs before departing. After shooting one of the 2 cab drivers, she meets outside in the street to take her to the hospital. Lucy has heightened senses and can hear voices outside the car as she travels to the hospital. When she arrives at the hospital, she can see the signs as clearly as if they were written in English for her. When she enters the operating room, a man is being treated by the medical staff. Lucy examines the man's X-ray images before shooting him, telling the medical staff that the tumor in his brain had already spread too far for them to be able to rescue him. She coerces the medical staff into removing the bag from her stomach. She then calls her mother to explain that she is able to access the most intimate parts of her memories, including being sick as a child or even petting a cat when she was just a year old. She feels everything, including the air, the blood flowing through her veins, the heat leaving her body, and even the air. Before hanging up, she declares her love for her mother. When the doctor removes the bag of medications from Lucy's stomach, she tells him that it is CPH4, and he tells her that he is shocked Lucy has survived this long with it in her body, because pregnant women manufacture this substance 6 weeks into their pregnancy as nutrition for the fetus. Jang is currently receiving a tattoo and a facial, so Lucy takes one more stop before returning to the hotel to locate him. Before stabbing both of Jang's hands, she dispatches his guards and drives the tattoo artist away. She performs a Vulcan mind meld into his brain using her newly acquired abilities, and using images from their aircraft tickets, she deduces the destinations of the other 3 drug mules. Jang screams in agony as she departs. To use her laptop, Lucy visits her friend Caroline's, Leo Tipton, flat. She quickly reads through all of Norman's research, then gets in touch with him to let him know what she's read. Even as she continues to describe her feelings and experiences after reaching up to 20% brain capacity, he is shocked to learn that she read everything. Her appearance on Norman's hotel room TV, phone, and radio demonstrate her ability to manipulate electronics. In a day, she wants to meet with him. She prints out a prescription for Caroline before she leaves, warning her that her liver and kidneys are failing, and that she needs to adopt a new lifestyle if she wants to survive. As Lucy travels through the airport, she alters the color and style of her hair, because it has been widely known that she shot the patient. She contacts Captain Pierre Del Rio, Amer-Waite, a French police officer, to let him know about the additional drug mules. She then gets on the airplane and continues her studies on the brain while typing quickly on her laptop. Lucy requests a glass of champagne when the flight attendants ask her to switch off her computer. She also tells one of the flight attendants to clean her nose without turning around, which causes the other passenger's nose to bleed. The champagne glass is handed to Lucy, who raises it to wisdom. She takes a sip, and a 40% lights on the screen. She spits up 3 additional teeth after finding a tooth in her drink. Then, in full front of the passengers and flight attendants, her skin begins to deteriorate. When Lucy enters the bathroom, her face starts to melt and her fingers start to vanish. She takes out the remaining CPH4 and inhales it to return to normalcy, but she faints. After they have captured the other mules, Lucy awakens in a hospital room where Del Rio and a few other officers and medics are waiting. She immediately sits up, alarming the nurse. Nicholas Fonfeth, one of Jang's goons, enters the area in search of the other mules with more armed men. After killing them, they take them into a room and cut the drugs out of them. When Lucy exits the room, armed men are waiting for her. With the exception of Del Rio, she can put them all to sleep with a wave of her fingertips. Together, they locate Jang's men. With her brain capacity now at 60%, she maneuvers them around the hallway and builds an invisible barrier to stop G from fleeing with the suitcase of drugs. She takes G's medicines and turns to leave, but she instructs Del Rio to follow. He believes he is useless to her, but she approaches and gives him a kiss while inviting him to be there as a reminder. By commandeering Del Rio's automobile and swerving erratically through the streets while admitting she has never driven before, Lucy uses her powers to locate a new place. G and Jang adhere to her. In a university, where Lucy and Del Rio find Norman and his colleagues, she starts to reveal everything she has learned about how much smarter she is now than the average person. While everything is going on, Jang and his men sneak into the area and begin firing. Lucy provides the academics the remaining CPH4 so they can create a liquid substance that enters her circulation. Her hands begin to change into a black, wormy sort of goo that hooks itself to the computers in the room, giving Lucy more energy from matter and giving her an amazing amount of power. Her brain function drops to 70%, and her hands begin to change into this goo. She manipulates matter in a way that seems to erase everything in the room, leaving the professors standing in a blank space before constructing some sort of new age supercomputer right in front of their eyes as her brain function continues to advance. He tells G to take action as he watches from outside as the cops shoot down Jang's guys. Lucy is sent hundreds of kilometers to Times Square when G fires a rocket launcher through the room. With a wave of her hand, she can alter time. Through Meet the Proto-Human from the opening scene, she journeys backwards from early 20th century New York to colonial days and even all the way to primordial times. They make contact with their fingers, propelling Lucy through the universe, all of space and all of time, giving her limitless power. After carefully approaching Lucy's head with his gun, Jang enters the room. She eventually achieves 100%. Her clothing are left behind when her body vanishes. Jang shoots nothing with his gun. Del Rio enters and kills Jang with a shot. The room's black matter vanishes and transforms into a flash drive that falls into Norman's hands, expanding and concluding his investigation. Del Rio inquires about Lucy. His phone displays a message that reads, "I am everywhere," with Lucy's voiceover stating that this is what can be done with life. The movie ends with an aerial picture of Jang's corpse. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification for more movie recaps.